북드라마 투어 마지막 시간, 이번에 찾아간 도시는 바로 시애틀입니다. 아마존을 비롯해 마이크로소프트, 스타벅스, 세계적인 기업들의 본사가 있는 도시, 바로 시애틀이죠. 이곳에서 만난 북드라마 저자는 누구일까요? 바로 메이크타임을 쓴 제이크넷 존 제라츠키입니다. 지난 7월에 제가 북드라마로 소개해서 31만 조회수를 기록한 바로 그 책 메이크타임인데요. 의지력만으로는 일상을 통제하기가 너무 어렵고 항상 시간이 없다고 느낄 때 꼭 읽어야 할 새로운 시간관리법으로 제가 소개를 했었습니다. 저자 제이크넷과 존 제라츠키는요, 지메일과 유튜브, 구글 행아웃 등 서비스를 구축하고 개선을 해온 전 구글 디자이너이자 구글의 핵심 프로그램을 개발한 기획실행법 스프린트를 만든 이들로 유명합니다. 이들 최고의 IT 천재들이 개발한 시간관리법은 과연 무엇이 다를까요? 그 답을 찾기 위해 이곳 시애틀까지 찾아왔는데요. 처음 만난 두 사람은 첫인상부터 매력이 흘러넘칩니다. 저를 위해서 책과 초콜릿까지 준비한 멋진 두 남자와의 인터뷰, 지금 시작하겠습니다. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm MK Kim.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
I'm Jake, I should say.
Jake.
Yeah, and I'm John.
You're John.
Yeah.
Jake and John.
You can call me Jay-Z if you'd like. My friends call me Jay-Z. You want
JG.
Jay-Z,
Okay.
yeah.
JG.
Yeah.
I can call you JG. I can call you.
Jake. My friends also call me Jake.
Okay. Would you like to say hello to our Korean viewers?
Yeah.
To the camera. Okay.
Hello, 안녕하세요.
Ah, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, hi everybody. John Zaratsky. Very excited to be here today.
That's great. Okay. So, early this year, I introduced your book on my YouTube channel.
Thank you.
There many people, they really loved reading your book, and they gave many great review. So I think because your book is really unique, and then it's very easy to apply to their life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why many people really like your book. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear because
Okay.
that's kind of what we were going for. John and I are designers, and we've been designing software for many years, and then coaching companies and startups for many years. And we wanted to write a book about a topic that a lot of people have written about, and there are a lot of great books on the subject. But we wanted to make one that was hopefully easy to use, easy to try.
Yeah.
Because that's what we care about, is making things work in people's lives.
Your book, this Meantime, it is bestseller in Korea.
Well, it sounds like we have you to thank for that.
After I introduced your book, in just a few days later, and then it was on bestseller.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So we definitely
that's
have you to thank.
Can you do that for any book we write? Can we write anything?
Let me explain about this interview. So I found some keywords from your book.
Oh, okay.
And I tell you the keyword first, and then I ask you some related questions, okay?
That sounds good.
And the first keyword about friendship. Friendship. So I know that you guys are very close friends, and then you mentioned in your book, you guys are just like family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you guys meet?
You want to tell the story?
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, I want to tell the story
Oh,
first. First, I want to
okay.
give you my perspective, and then I'll tell you. John already worked at Google Ventures. I got my job at Google Ventures, and I met him, and I instantly, from the first moment I met him, I did not like him. Because
Why?
Because he's younger than I am. He's better looking than I am. He's good at he knew how to do everything. He had worked with startups before. I never had. He knew how to write code. Knew how to program. I didn't know
That
how to
means
do
you
that.
were jealous of
He's a
him.
better designer. I was jealous.
Okay.
I was jealous of him. But then I started working with him, and the thing is, he's a really nice guy. And so I didn't want to, but I did like him. But at first, I didn't. Anyway, I'll let you tell your impression.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I was working at this company called Google Ventures, which invests in startups, and my job there was to basically go into those startups after we made an investment and try to help them, to sort of be like a consultant and help them do whatever work they were doing, launching products or doing marketing to their customers. And at first, I would just sort of go into the companies and try to tell them what to do. And I think well, what would I do? And I would just tell them to do that. But
Okay.
pretty soon we realized that wasn't really going to work. There was no way that I could have all the answers for these companies. And so we needed a better approach to help these teams work together to focus on answering their own questions. And we had heard about Jake, and we had we knew the same people, and we started to get to know each other. And Jake had been experimenting with this process at Google called the design sprint, which is a way for teams to focus together on their most important challenges and opportunities. And so we recruited Jake to join our team at Google Ventures, and then we started working together, going into all these startups and really helping them change the ways that they work, change the ways that they spend their time, so that they could focus on the work that was really important to their business, instead of just like answering email all day and sitting through meetings and the kind of stuff that people often get stuck doing at work.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Next keyword is about Make Time. This book.
Yeah.
I think when I read your book, I just thought, I'm a motivational speaker, so I read many books about time management.
Yeah.
Okay, there are so many books about time management, but your book is just different, but very unique. Yes, it's very unique and also practical. It's also practical. That's why I really like your book. So, what do you think? What are some differences between your book and other time management books?
How do you answer that?
Well, I can say a couple things. One of the differences is that most time management books, they tell you exactly what to do.
Okay.
So they say, first do this, then do that, then do the third thing. And if you
okay,
do
okay.
everything right, you'll be golden. Then you'll have time.
Okay.
And our book isn't like that. Our book is sort of like, it's kind of like a cookbook. If you get a cookbook,
There's
it's full
so
of
many recipes.
and
Okay.
you kind of page through it and you find the ones that really appeal to you and you think, I could do that. I can make that. That would work for me. And you try it, and then maybe that gets you excited to try something else. And over time, you customize the recipes and you tweak them and you find your favorites.
Okay.
And eventually, it's not that you're doing exactly what we told you to do, but you're customizing the system so that it perfectly fits into your life and it matches your priorities. And I think that's one of the biggest differences.
So you suggested 87 tactics, yeah?
Yeah.
We can pick up, this recipe, I'm gonna cook with this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and most people who are really into Make Time, and even us, as the authors of the book, people only use maybe 10 of the tactics or 15 or 5, or even if you only use one tactic, even if there's only one thing in the book, like this idea of setting a daily highlight or the idea of having a distraction-free phone, even if there's only one thing, but it makes a difference for you, then that's great. Then we feel like we succeeded with the book.
Okay, that's great. That's why I really, really like this book, Make Time. Okay, the next question is about busy bandwagon. Wow, that's a great idea. Okay, so busy bandwagon and being busy. Being busy. So you talk about busy bandwagon in this book, and I think people are very, very concerned about being busy.
Yes.
And sometimes people even compete with each other.
Yes.
Who is busier than me? That means, because I think they believe that being busy means being successful.
Yes, it's a sign
That's the
of...
biggest misunderstanding, but people do.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's a sign of being important. If I'm busy, then that means people need me to do things. They want me to do things. I have work to do. So it's definitely a big problem, I think, here in the United States. I don't know if it's true in Korea, but my impression is in Korea people are very busy too.
Very competitive.
world. So when we're in an environment where everybody is talking about being busy all the time, and we think everybody expects us to be busy all the time, it makes it that much easier to fill time with anything, any task, and not be so critical about if it makes sense, if it's the right way to spend our time. And it becomes harder to make the choices and the trade-offs we have to make to focus on the things that really matter to us. Because ultimately what you have to do is, as John said, you have to decide each day, what matters today? And
What matters today?
What matters today? How am I going to make time for that
Highlight.
one thing today?
Yeah.
The highlight. So the highlight is our antidote to the busy bandwagon. You know, it's a way to start breaking that chain of always trying to react and always trying to be busy at all times. Because when you're in the busy bandwagon, every time you check your email, you want to reply as fast as possible.
right.
Every time you get a text message, I want to reply as fast as possible. And every time I have space in my calendar, I want to fill it with other people's meetings. And then there's no time.
Busy. Yeah, I'm busy, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's no time for what's important. And we saw inside so many companies that this is the way. Even the most sophisticated, successful companies in the United States, they're still wasting so much time being busy. And they still have a very hard time doing what's important. So it's not just a better way to live your days. I mean, it's also it's a competitive advantage too.
Right. Yeah. The most successful people are actually the ones who don't appear to be very busy because they're in control of their time and they're spending their time on stuff that really makes a difference.
Okay. This another very important topic is defaults. You know that this is one of my favorite idea of your book, defaults. Yeah. Could you tell me about defaults? There are so many defaults surrounding us.
Yeah.
To me, that I woke up in the morning and I must check email first. There's hundreds email. Yeah, half of that is junk mail. And then I checked my text messages to read, and then I must check my YouTube channel every single hour.
But you have good reason to.
And what else? Instagram.
Yeah.
I have Instagram.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah, and think
There are
about
so
when you
many things to react.
Yeah. Think about when you get a brand new smartphone, you know, and you open the box and you take the phone out and it's shiny and it's perfect and you turn it on. The very first thing you do is you sign into your email account. And by default, your phone, it's got an email app pre-installed. And by default, it's going to check automatically for messages in the background and it's going to make a noise every time a new message comes in. And by default, it's going to have a news app, it's going to have a web browser, it's going to have a stock market update app on it, it's going to have all this stuff. And you didn't ask for those things to be there. You didn't choose to have all those apps on your phone. They just kind of came that way. And so, like you said, these defaults are everywhere. There's a lot of the ways that our technology products are configured by default aren't really designed to help us do the things that we want to do. They're designed to grab our attention and to kind of pull us into using these products.
But
And
it's very comfortable.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's very
I
normal.
really love iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. iPhone. Right here. Yeah. There it is.
I really,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Yeah, I could live without iPhone.
Well, yeah, and
It's a default. It's very
And it's-
evil defaults. I know.
And there's some things that are really amazing about iPhones, about Android phones. I mean, the ability to download a whole book on your phone and read it. Or you land in a new city, you know, you're traveling here in the United States and you get off the plane and you pull up the map and it's there instantly. Or, you know, all the amazing things you can do, having the camera on your phone.
Yes.
So, you know, and we worked in the technology industry, so we're technology enthusiasts and we really want to encourage people to use these technologies as tools to help them do the things that are important to them.
Yeah.
But we also want to help people avoid feeling like they're being used by the technology. So we want the humans to be in charge, not the devices.
Yes, right. So we lose our control.
Yeah.
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 So, but you said you got get rid of them, right? You got.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll show you right now. Here's
Rid of them,
there's
right?
the screen. Yeah. So.
Oh my God! It's so
Yeah. It's not much on there.
empty. Empty.
Very empty. Yeah, and this is the
Very
thing.
empty.
Oh,
What-
now
what-
there's some stuff on
Oh,
there.
now there's
What about the next page?
Uber.
Do
yeah,
you have
yeah,
a
yeah.
next page?
Yeah.
Next page?
Yeah, go over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
Kindle.
Yeah. There's the MakeTime app. We're working on that
The
in beta.
MakeTime, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what is it?
And there's all the junk that you can't get
Oh,
rid of.
okay.
You know, the work stuff and the travel apps. But yeah, I took off email and the browser and social media apps.
So
and
you are a very brave man. How did you
actually, it's the
how did you
opposite.
get rid of them?
I'm the opposite of brave. I can't handle it. I can't handle having all the things on there. And I had them like that for, you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. The smartphone first came out. I had the iPhone. And I just reached this point where I realized it was taking my attention always away from my family or from whatever was going on in life. I was wondering, what's going on the phone? And is there something new?
Oh, yes.
And I reached this point where I was with my kids. We were on the floor playing with wooden trains, and my son says, "Dad, why are you looking at your phone?" And I realized that without even thinking about it, I had taken my phone out and I was, I don't know, checking my email or checking Instagram. I don't even know what I was doing, but I never thought about it. And I was missing, I had worked so hard to get home in time in the evening before my kids went to bed to spend time with them. And then I wasn't even there because I was on the phone.
It wasn't even
it's
there.
It's not okay.
Right.
Yeah, and I got so angry at myself. So I just deleted everything on the phone that distracted me. And I thought this would be really hard. You know, when I was done, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But I decided to try it for one day. And what happened was, during that day, I felt free. My whole head felt different. I had more attention. Everything seemed quieter. And I could, it was like time slowed down, you know? And so when 24 hours were over, I didn't even notice. It was, you know, I spent a week doing it. And then, I mean, now I think it's been almost 7 years like this. And I got John to try it too. Yeah. I finally convinced my wife to try it. That took longer. But I think it's really powerful because as John said, there are so many things that the phone can do that are amazing that do not distract. There are wonderful tools on the phone. But by default, I had taken all of it. I said yes to everything. But we don't have to accept that default. We can choose what we want to use. And we can take away the things that don't serve us, and especially the things that steal away our time, because that's our life, you know? I shouldn't miss those moments with my kids to check my email or to check Instagram. It's not worth it.
But you finally made your time.
Yeah.
For your matter, okay?
Yeah.
Wow, for your life.
Yeah.
Oh. That's great. That's great. This is really interesting. Someday project. Someday project. It's really interesting. You know, so you, Jake, you have your someday project, yeah, and then John, you have your someday project. Okay, this is someday project.
What did we write?
Yeah, Jake, your someday project.
Yeah.
JG, your someday project. Could you read with your voice, Jake?
Oh, sure.
First?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to start writing in the evenings, but realized that the lure of watching TV was a big problem. So I experimented and made a serious change to my defaults, putting the DVD player in the closet and unsubscribing from Netflix. With the freed up time, I started working on an adventure novel, and I stuck with it, pausing only when we wrote our book Sprint. Writing was something I'd wanted to do since I was a kid, and making time for it felt awesome. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Your turn.
For years, my wife Michelle and I had dreamed of taking long sailing trips together. So we bought an old sailboat and started spending our weekends fixing it up. We applied the same tactic of choosing one daily task and putting time on the calendar to highlight to get it done, and as a result made time to learn about diesel engine maintenance, electricity, ocean navigation, and together we've now sailed from San Francisco to Southern California and Mexico, and since the book has come out, we've sailed through Central America, Panama, up through the Caribbean, and to Key West, Florida. So, yeah, that was my someday project.
Wow, that's great. So I think many people, most of the people have their own someday project.
Yeah.
Want to start their someday project right away. Then, so what are some of the things that they have to do today?
Yeah, well, we always encourage people to start really small. So we encourage them, you know, not to get hung up on thinking about, you know, when they're going to be a master musician, but how can they make time tomorrow? Maybe make a little bit of time to start practicing, or take one small step of buying a book or signing up to take a lesson. And it's very important to know sort of the proactive side of it. So what do you want to make time for? So, and then next keyword is about this 4 daily steps. This highlight, leisure, energize, and reflect.
You want to explain how it works?
Yeah, sure. So we've already talked about highlight. It's the idea of starting each day by asking yourself, what do I want to be the highlight of my day? What's the one thing that I want to bring my best energy and attention to, and make sure that no matter what else happens, I made time for that one thing. So that's the first step, highlight.
First step.
The second step is laser, and that's all about your
Focus.
attention, your focus, and making sure that you're not being distracted and pulled in a million different directions. And so our advice there is really about reconfiguring your technology, your phones, maybe putting your TV in a different room, structuring your calendar so that you have time to focus on your highlight.
Remove all the defaults.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Reset those defaults that are kind of sucking your time away so that you have the ability to spend your time on your highlight, that thing that matters. The third step is energize, and it's kind of based on the idea that if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not healthy and well, if we haven't slept, if we haven't eaten, if we're we're not sort of well rested, we're not going to be able to make time for what matters. We're not going to be able to actually make the most of those moments when they come around. And then the fourth step is reflect. And we think this is super important because like we said, Make Time is designed to be a system that you can customize and you can make it fit into your life. And it's really important to take note of what's working for you and what's not working for you. And so we encourage people at the end of the day to spend a couple minutes sort of looking back and saying, what did I want to make time for? And did I do it? And what went well during the day and what didn't go well? And then perhaps most importantly, what am I going to try tomorrow? What's my plan for tomorrow? How am I going to make sure that tomorrow is a little bit better than today? So those are the 4 steps.
Yeah, that's the 4 steps.
Yeah.
And then this is the last keyword.
Okay.
Finally, we have last keyword. Before wrapping up, I want you to tell me the last keyword. So do you have any last keyword and then the keyword in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think willpower is a good one.
Yeah?
Okay, willpower.
Do you want to keep
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So maybe so the last
The last keyword is willpower.
willpower.
Okay, willpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is something that we talk about a bit in the book, but I think it's extremely important because when people feel like they're too busy, they're too distracted, they don't have time for what matters. When we feel that way, we kind of beat ourselves up. We say it's my fault. I wasn't disciplined enough. I didn't have enough willpower. If only I had more willpower, then I could resist the distractions and I could stay focused. I could stay on task. But that's not really how willpower works. Willpower is not some magical life-giving force that we either have or don't have. It's actually the result of our environment. So
Environment.
the processes and the tools that we use, our lifestyle, the ways that we were raised, our level of health and wealth, but also our mental environment, so our mindsets and the sort of beliefs that we have.
That's great. Yeah. The last keyword is really great. Willpower. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So could you, okay, thank you. So we had a really great talk. What about just making the wrap up like shouting, make, and I first say make, and you guys time. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
Make time. Okay? Make time. Great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 자, 여러분 이제 2019년이 정말 일주일 정도밖에 남지 않았어요. 여러분 어떠세요? 2020년도에는 내가 한번 이렇게 살아보겠다라는 어떤 계획을 이미 세우신 분도 있으시고 아니면 어떻게 해야 되지? 생각하는 분도 있으실 것 같아요. 제가 항상 여러분에게 말씀드렸어요. 사람은 방향이 있어야 된다. 방향이 있는 것과 없는 것은 너무나 큰 차이가 있잖아요. 여러분 그 방향이 뭘까요? 방향이 꿈이고요. 시스템입니다. 그래서 내가 일정한 어떤 시스템에 들어가 있느냐 없느냐에 따라서 솔직히 말해서 허송세월하느냐 아니면 꽉 차진 멋진 시간을 살아내느냐 완전 달라요. 꽉 짜여진 멋진 시간을 1년을 살아내고 나면 그 다음 해가 저절로 풀리는 느낌 여러분 느끼실 수 있을 겁니다. 그래서 제가 2019년에 만들어 놓은 것이 바로 유튜브 대학입니다. 모든 남자 여자 다 결혼 후에 성장한다. 그러려면 시스템이 진짜 중요하다. 1년간 어떻게 살아가고 어떤 시스템으로 할지를 제가 연구를 해서 만들어 놓은 게 사실은 유튜브 대학이에요. 자, 2020년도는 또 유튜브 대학이 한 10단계 정도 완전히 업그레이드가 됩니다. 2020년도에 김미경의 유튜브 대학의 모토는 잘 읽고 잘 쓰고 잘 말하자. 이 세 가지만 잘하면 창업을 하건 취업을 하건 새로운 일을 하건 두렵지 않을 겁니다. 이 세 가지가 사실 가장 기본이거든요. 생방송을 진행합니다. 2020 김미경의 유튜브 대학 입학 설명회가 진행됩니다. 열정대학생 분들이 나와서 여러분에게 실사례를 말씀드려 줄 거고요. 저는 이 2020의 김미경의 유튜브 대학이 무엇을 하게 될지 자세히 설명드릴 거고요. 특별히 또 그날은 제가 리미티드 에디션으로 특별히 제작된 여러분의 공부의 파트너가 될 에코백과 그리고 또 자랑스럽게 붙일 대학생 와펜까지 특별히 제작을 했습니다. 책가방은요, 생방송 중에 들어오셔서 등록하시는 분들에 한해서만 드리게 되어 있습니다. 우리 다 같이 대학생이 되어서 2020년을 한번 멋지게 최고의 시스템 내에서 한번 우리가 뛰어봤으면 좋겠습니다.